What's up, everybody? How's it going tonight? Looks like the internet's back. I saw a pause there for a minute, but yeah, looks like we're in good shape. Got Dave with us. Got the Edmund totally passed out on my lap because he was going bonks trying drive me crazy while I was getting set up. But yeah, good to see everyone. Got a little poll going about riding in the snow or not. Could do a separate one maybe later about just like cold and winter riding, but I went specifically with the snow because that's kind of been the issue around here lately, or the weather around here. We've got what I mean. We must have got what 3-4 inches.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. I rode the Towpath tonight, and it was thick with two C's. Excuse me. So, yeah, I've been reading everyone's comments as we've been getting started. So, I think I used to always do the roll call and say what's up to everybody. I think I'll skip that because that all that does is throw me so far behind in the chat. So it's easier to pull them all up there and just read them as we go. But Winsteiner. Negative is you're having trouble sleeping. Positive is you can finally catch one of the streams. Oh yeah, because your time's very different. What's up, Marte? Look at the poll so far. Ride in the snow is 62% yays and 38% nahs. Yeah. So yeah, my ride tonight was like completely mixed. I rode downtown Akron to pick up some pedals from Earthquaker Devices that I need to photograph tomorrow, and then I had an event to photograph for the university over at Greystone Hall, so like right in the pretty much the heart of downtown. So it was a mixed bag. So I leave the studio, out on the road there, pretty clear. Onto the sidewalks where there's construction and the bridge I go over, covered in snow and footprints. Into North Hills neighborhoods. One street would be clear, one street would have some slush, one street would have some snow on it. It was 34 degrees too when I rode, so snow was kind of melting and the ground isn't super cold yet. And then I got down to the towpath, and that's where it was like you could tell how much snow we really got. And then in certain spots where like the trailheads were, there were a lot of footprints. And I was doing one thing that I often do is like sometimes where the footprints are actually better to ride in. You're getting traction. Other times the fresher snow is better to ride in. So just kind of picking the line. And then I was really glad that while I was at the event, it didn't get cold enough because it wasn't very long for everything to freeze in place. And I realized that, so I came back to Towpath. My plan was if I was there and if like the temperature had dropped significantly, then those footprints would have frozen into place, and I might have just taken a different road route home. But that is one of the things around here with winter riding. You never know where they're going to plow. You never know what the conditions on different trails are going to be. So you kind of just have to be ready to call an audible, Or one time, I have to leave plenty of time too, because sometimes I'm like down on the towpath, it was all of a sudden taking me forever, whereas on the roads I wasn't really losing that much time. I'm also getting used, as I always have to riding in anything and knowing the conditions where, a month, if it snows a lot, I'll be going down the hills and knowing what my studded tires can do. Tonight I'm like taking it easy, plus had camera stuff on my back, so I do not want to fall with thousands of dollars of gear on my back and also show up to an event all wet or all dirty. It'd be weird. It was weird enough, to show up to the event and like change my cap and my hat and like take off because the windbreaker I'm using right now is a 90s specialized vintage one that I'm not going to be wearing when everyone else is in like suits and stuff. So Minneapolis got about the same amount, hoping for a good snow season, fat biking and XC skiing. Yeah, last year we had a year where a fat bike would have made a lot of sense, but then we've had a couple of years before that where I never would have even touched one. So, yeah. Ever had your derailleur cassette freeze up? Erin has had a problem where she couldn't shift, and that's mechanical. So we don't know if water got in there and froze. And I think Large Marge is in the chat, whose bikes are covered but parked outside, has had that problem. My problem is usually the brakes when it's really cold. And I'm rim brake on the bike I ride in the snow. What I find is I have to drag them once in a while. So if I forget to like start dragging the brakes will freeze up and I won't be able to stop. So That's one of the things too. I'm keen to ride in the mud on the regular. I'm not keen. Nice up. Dirty everything is a hassle. Yeah, I don't like. I mean, I don't like being wet and muddy. But if I've like signed up for an event or if it's my, you know, group ride, then I'm pretty much gonna do it. But I'm not gonna go out and look for it. But snow though, like what we were in today, is there's like my bike's. It needs to be hosed off. I'm gonna do that later. I always let it thaw, but that's mostly for the salt and then to relube it. But yeah, so everything was so snowy that there was no mud issues tonight. Samuel, this is like a thing I think I kind of want to address specifically because I talk about it in a bunch of videos and like small chunks. But after the comments on my last video about kind of being out on a winter ride, people asking questions about like the studded tires a lot. And the thing is, and I filmed a lot of tonight's ride and I was thinking that could be the backdrop for this video. There's not an answer. And one of the things I was thinking of starting the video off is, you know how like they always say Eskimos have like 5 million words for snow, whatever it is. You've heard this, right?
Yes.
Eskimos have 500 words for snow. I We could have 500 words for snow when you ride bikes because it's so different. So like I don't think there is in around here too, like what I said, like the ride I had tonight, the conditions were so mixed depending on where I was. Like studded tires weren't always ideal, but then when I needed them, I needed them. So in my opinion, like some people are like they say they never need them, which is fine. But yeah, so it's really hard to answer that question because it really depends. And I also say too, like there's some of the streets that weren't plowed tonight that I rode on, that when snow sticks around and they don't plow, the cars all drive over it first, and then it becomes like packed where snow is slipping on snow, and then it doesn't matter what bike you're riding. And then again, if you have bike path that they don't take care of, once it gets too deep, it becomes unrideable. And then here now with our non-consistent winters, these are just all the factors of why I can't answer your question. We also get the thing where like,
At Pudgy Pedal Pusher became a member. At Pudgy Pedal Pusher celebrates 57 months of membership. Billy Big Balls over here talking about riding studs.
Pudgy, what's up? Thanks for the 57 months. Jeez. But yeah, so we get a lot where, say, it'll get up to 40 during the day, then freeze overnight. Then you have footprints frozen into stuff, and that becomes almost unrideable too. So here in Northeast Ohio, my answer is there is not an answer. It's a mess. So that's why I go with the vintage mountain bike. I think they're 2.1s maybe. They might be 2.3s, whatever. With the studs, and they're more commuter style studs because they're kind of trying to split the difference and keep me riding as much as possible. Naptown said only got up to 27 in central Indiana. Yeah, today was 34, but last night was pretty cold in the last couple nights, and it snowed all night and into the morning, through the early morning, right?
Oh yeah, shoot.
Yeah, into like
through mid morning.
Yeah. I voted no just because I'm in the South. We stay inside if the ground turns white. Yeah. Plus, no one's there. You guys don't have the equipment to take care of it, right? Anyone else keep a dedicated studded wheel set on hand? One of my things that I love is keeping a dedicated snow bike. So I don't ride it. It's just my old mountain bike from 2001, and I think that is a huge benefit that I don't have to switch back and forth. I saw Box Hill in the beginning mention that hasn't switched to studs yet. Large switches the bike he normally rides over to studs, but yeah, I like having a bike so you have the options. Again, that just goes back to our winters aren't consistent. And last year, I rode that bike a ton. 2 years ago, I think I rode it twice and then cleaned it up and hung it back up. So, Michael said Ohio snowbird in Florida for the season. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to be in Florida for at least 3 days. It's only going to be 3 days, but I'm excited to do some riding when it's late January. It'll actually be warm. Bicycletti, yeah, because the system we got was across like more than the whole state, right? This wasn't lake effect this time. This was actually a huge system, right?
Right.
Yeah, the snow we got before and on Thanksgiving, or on Thanksgiving, was different because that was just lake effect. So pretty unpredictable. As the wind would come from the north, we'd just start getting it piled up, and then yeah, lake effect's a whole different beast if you've never lived anywhere where you can get it. Live and work on a snow emergency route, so your way to work on snowy days tend to be clear. Nice. I can't quite figure out the pattern. I looked at what the mayor of Akron said last night in his social media posts about that they already had salt on the main route, so they were going to start with the secondaries. But then I just don't understand in some neighborhoods why they never hit certain streets and other ones that look the same are always hit. Because like North Hill, like that I ride through, it's like the streets that are never plowed aren't any more traffic than the streets that are always plowed.
It depends on a lot.
I mean, I'm not talking about like Howard or Maine. I'm talking
right. Schools have a lot to do with it.
School routes, yeah, bus routes. Mostly ride fixed in winter to avoid frozen drivetrain issues. Yeah. What's up, Cheesy Rider? Oh, Michael, you said you're coming from AVL, North Carolina. I don't AVL, North Carolina, though I assume for Christmas, and we'll be riding the Ohio to Erie the 25th through the 30th. Anticipate a cold, tough ride, man. Yeah, don't know. I mean, we've had 60-degree Christmases here and warm New Year's as well, but that could be, if we get a lot of snow, you could be real slow going because the towpath will just be. And I assume the bike path down by Cincinnati was not taken care of once you're outside the city either. What, Little Miami? I don't know if, of course, my mind goes blank when I need to name our friend from Cincinnati who's usually in the chat. So, Donald, yeah. Anyways, he could let you know. But yeah, that could be real slow going. What, Pudgy, what about those central Ohio flat trails? Do they take care of those when it gets snowy? Yeah, that could be interesting. I'd love to hear about how that goes. And obviously, I don't know what the weather looks like, but typically, like I said, this was a huge system that hit the whole state and more than the whole state. But the southern half of Ohio is generally going to be a few degrees warmer and definitely less snowy, and you don't have the lake effect chances. So there's times where the whole state is green, except for just right up around Cleveland and stuff. Thanks, Roger. What's up, Cassidy? Budgie. What's up, Ed? DT Trail Winter Loop was groomed and it was perfect, Greg. Nice. Yeah, they don't. There's one trail I know around here that they groom if it gets like enough snow. Otis from Dirty River always goes out there and has talked about doing more rides out there. But like I said, we just don't have a predictable winter to know if you'll ever be able to do it. Oh, hey, what's up, Frank? Typically don't get snow in Houston, but this past January had a snow day and took your bike out for a quick ride. 2.3 inches on 650. Yeah, and again, if it was warmish and you're getting traction, it's just, yeah. And then, but I mean, go watch a Lucas Brunel video, and I mean, I know it's Lucas Brunel, he does his own thing, but he bombing through the blizzards in Boston, and he swears to God on just riding normal road tires and cutting through it all. And we've been on rides where Buddy was riding a Surly cross-check on I think only 35s or 38s, and the kind of snow we were on, he was kind of slicing through and having an easier time than everybody else. Other times I'm trying to stay in a fat bike's tire and not deviate or I won't make it. So again, just depends on how wet, how cold, powdery, compact footprints. So RJ said, wider is better have a fat bike with no studs and a gravel bike with 38 studded. Mostly rather be on the fatty, but depends. Yeah, just a mix. I went out last year a couple times on the Dirty River Sunday morning rides where everyone had a fat bike except me and Aaron and a couple of friends on pretty beefy modern mountain bikes. And we could barely keep it upright. Like on certain parts, we were just like fighting to keep our balance, and it was definitely fat bike territory. But Oh, I did see that box. So Dustin Klein recently asked his followers about non-stud winter tire options. Have a pair of Continental Top Contact Winter 2 Premium, and they're great. Yeah, then like I said, mine are kind of more of a board. They're studded, but they're more of a border. They have aggressive rubber tread as well, and the studs don't sit out so far. So when you are riding on pavement, you still get a lot of rubber contact, and I could see those tires being decent even if they didn't have studs in them. Late arrival. I think if I ever left New Jersey, if you never left New Jersey, you'd ride in the snow, but in Richmond, you don't really have to worry about it. Yeah, Kennelson, like Kennelson. Skipped a syllable there. Studded tires are cheaper than a trip to the ER, and for me, they're just peace of mind. And like that's kind of what, if I make a video, it would be the point because I've already, like I've said, you can't really say whether you need them or not. Like I've definitely ridden my bikes in the snow without them and had a great time. And again, it just depends on the kind of snow, but I like the peace of mind of the studded tires for me. But also, I'm riding like an old mountain bike on sweet bars. My whole goal is to be out. I'm not trying to most of the time. Most of the time I'm just out there like getting out there riding 10, 15, maybe 20 miles depending on how cold or how deep the snow is. And so if it's something that like tonight, I commuted to work where maybe if I didn't have my bike set up like that, I would have gotten in the car. So it got me outside, got a little bit of exercise, ready for spring. I'm always good on winter till after New Year's, and it also depends on the kind of winter we get. But like I always like last night when it started snowing, and I was looking out the window, laying there with Edmund. We are both watching it, so yeah, I enjoy it for a while, and then it usually wears out its welcome. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Uh, it's funny. I actually was just having this before the stream because I got a beer I'll talk about here in a second, but I used to really like Truth. Then the drive-through across the street from me closed, and they have not. Now they're reopened. Don't have a liquor license again yet, or a beer, whatever, alcohol license. And the gas station across the street from me, the only decent beer they have is Truth. I'm starting to hate Truth. It's like because it's the only craft IPA or craft beer they have at all. So it's yeah. Bicycle got around okay today on 48 millimeter Navi Renaers tires. Yeah, and like on the video I made about like the Black Friday ride, I would have been fine on just Navi tires. But today I was glad I was on the studs, though. You can't say how I would have been on something else because I only did the ride I did. But yeah, David, you guys, 49 today and 5 inches of snow tomorrow. Yeah, this is unusual. Like we don't usually get accumulation this early anymore. Like, it could snow in October, but yeah, I can't remember the last time we had this much snow early in December. And I can remember when I brought Edmund in was December 10th 2 years ago, and we hadn't even had any really cold weather yet. And the reason I brought him in is because he's living out in the alley and it was so cold out. So I will be in Avon Lake, Florida, which is kind of equal distance from Orlando or in the coast from Tampa Bay. But I'm going to a bike event, so I'm just going to be doing that, so I won't be like just randomly riding. Where's my online go-to shop when I'm not supporting my local shops? Usually direct. I would, if there was something I couldn't get from my shop, I would try and get it directly from the company I was ordering from. So I guess I don't have one, but I really get so much from my shop because they could give me what I want, and they'll order what I want if they don't stock it too. So I usually try and go that route. It's been so long since I've just bought stuff online that I don't have an answer, to be honest. They just picked up a rec membership, so the plan for winter is swimming, weightlifting, and spin classes. Oh, hi, what's up, Rigda? Punderson has groomed trails. That's right, I did know that. I'm trying to think of the other place Otis goes. It's not Punderson, but I did hear about Punderson. DK's favorite tires or whatever he's being paid to ride in this next video. This topic speaks to your thinking that we need one bike per season. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. Like I said, I do have a dedicated snow bike. When I was making the last video, I was like, well, any bike's a winter bike. If there's not snow on the ground, I'm going to ride what I want to ride. But if there's snow on the ground, I do like having the dedicated bike. So we got 83 votes in the poll, so I'll end it there. But yeah, 65% of this chat will ride in the snow. So yeah, like the first few times, Samuel, like when I love getting out, like on it, when they're getting like the snow's like flying like crazy and building up, and like getting a couple of those rides in. It's like I said, when we get into the freeze thaw, that's when it sucks around here. So, but my brother was in the chat, but he deleted his message. He sent me a text right before I started streaming, but I didn't have time to read it, so maybe he came in here to tell me. Yeah, Minneapolis and up there, I see all the winter riding and the groomed trails, like out to the lakes and stuff like that look awesome. You guys still have more consistent winters. Give it a few years, you'll have winters like us, but yeah, I would never like cold shave anyone. But cold, man, really once you get used to like the kind of layering you can do, is into the 30s. I personally, for me, everyone's tolerances are different, but like even tonight, I didn't throw the windbreaker on my way out, seeing that it was 34 and knowing that I was going to climb up into downtown. And I get real used to the 30s around here in Ohio, where they don't become an issue to me. But yeah, and I still go out when it's even colder than that. But there are times when we ride out to a brewery, and then we get dinner. We're gonna come out, and it's gonna be about 9 o'clock and about 19 degrees, and I always end up warming up. But starting that up, those first few miles just suck. Oh, nice. It's jumpy. Just got bikes so you can start riding again and get back into shape. Plan to take your 20-month-old around with you and explore the town. Nice. I see people who like make videos and like bike tour with their kids, even really little ones. That'd be wild. Brian Adventures, what's up? He said, I think it was said that this was a record amount of snowfall in Ohio. Oh, this early? I could believe that, yeah. Ran high school cross country semi-state race in snow during the first week of October, yeah. Oh, record snowfall in November, gotcha. Yeah, I think I was talking on a stream. Maybe I was bringing this up on the stream. But we got that snow. That would have been right at the beginning of November, because I had to work. I was giving a talk out at Highland High School, and it reminded me of the last time I was out at Highland High School. I was in high school running track, and we got snow, so it was a late freak spring snowfall. Yeah. Record November, 1 day snow in Chicago too. That would make sense, probably. Yeah, I will be in Florida. I think it's the last week of January. Voted up but not doing big miles. Yeah, same. I've done me and Large, who said Otis does Punderson for the groom stuff, so I was wrong. It is Punderson where he goes, but and Large would know because he works for Otis. But where was I going with that? Yeah, me and Large did I remember a half century in the cold once and in the snow. So I've done bigger miles. I've gone, but in general, I'm getting more down to 10, 15. But if there's a lot of snow on the trails, that feels like 20. I say like double the effort if you're riding in the snow, at least for me. Used to ride in the snow, too old for that shit. No, I just try to hose the bike off. Also, my winter bike is an old Trek mountain bike that's aluminum, which helps a lot. And it's running. It's not running that great anymore. It needs some upgrades, but it's running the original train, original wheels. So if you are able to bring your bikes in somewhere, if you're able to like hose them off somewhere, the 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 effects of salt, like some people are too precious about it. But then again, I don't want to I don't throw studded tires on my gunner and run it all winter. Would I if I didn't have something else? I can't say, but it is nice to have an aluminum bike for winter because then you don't have to worry quite as much. Can't keep your feet warm. We've talked about this a number of times, and people have been talking at large margin. I need to order a pair, but hiking boots, like warmer hiking boots. I have a limit with what I have on how long my feet will stay warm, which is about an hour, with a couple layers of like a thin liner, wool socks, and then my winter 510s. So, yeah, I want to be a little more prepared for that this winter. My feet. So sometimes my hands get cold, but I've gotten the best gloves I've ever had, which are sealskins. They're lobster style gloves. The model starts with a B. They're warmer than anything I've ever worn. I've never needed to put a liner underneath them. I got them mid last winter. And then I have bar mitts on the snow bike, which I'll do 2 pairs of wool gloves under when it's really cold. So, hey, what's up, David Geller? Just watched your, I think it was your latest YouTube video, but overdressed for the first fat bike ride and had to take off your jacket. Yeah, I was saying this when we were talking with Party Size last week, that how I used to be like I'm always going to go out cold and just acclimate, but a lot of times now I intentionally go out with an extra layer just knowing that I'm going to stop 2 miles down the road and stuff it in the bag. It's another thing. I'm always big on having a lot of bags on the bike, plenty of room for the winter, whether the layers are going on or coming off. So, battery powered socks, I've heard about them. Heard about that for gloves too. I don't think I would like it for gloves. Well, I've tried a cheaper pair that they work, but man, I don't like my hands getting overheated as much as I don't like them to get cold. So I think finding the right combination for that is better for me. But that's salt. I always rinse them, yeah. But that's one good thing. I mean, is aluminum's gonna hold up better than steel. To get through winter, you got VR goggles and VZ Fit. Can virtually ride anywhere in the world where Google Street View has been. Okay, so it's like an app. Yeah, I rode this whole setup right down here, the live stream studio, um, is also my trainer setup. The last 2 years I haven't ridden it. I'd rather just get outside, but for a couple years I rode it a lot and really enjoyed it. Even Zwift, I like the game element of it. I liked, yeah, I enjoyed it for a while, and now I just in general would rather get outside. But I'm not training for anything. I'm not a racer. Uh, it's not my only means of staying in shape and stuff like that. So, what's up, William LeBron? I need to switch my legs with the Edmund. My legs falling asleep so bad. If I stay like this, I'm going to be hurting when I get up. Hang on, little bud. It's great. I got the most jostle-free cat of all time. I will literally be sitting on the couch and like want to grab another beer or grab a cup of water, and I could pick this guy up, bring him with him, and put him back on my lap, and he still lays there. He's not a cat. What's up, Aaron? Global Fat Bike Day is Saturday. Huh. This year, I think it's going to be a good one because I don't think it's supposed to warm up. I think it's going to still be snowy. Yeah, because I was talking. I haven't looked at the weather again, only the temperatures, but I was actually talking to a plow driver on my way back because my fender bolt came loose and he was going to use the bathroom at the trailhead. And he said Wednesday and Thursday we might get hit again.
Yeah, some later in the week.
Bill in Columbia, that's how I feel when I get my winter bike down every year. I'm like, I cleaned it up and I thought I was ready to go, but then I was pedaling like a little hard up a hill on Friday, and the chain slipped, and I'm like, oh yeah, the middle ring on this bike is destroyed. I tried to change it last year. Then that's when I learned all my rings are riveted together on that bike. Some Shimano bullshit. And I can't remember why I didn't put one of the 90s mountain bike drivetrains I have on it. I think the whole entire system is weird and incompatible with certain things. So tomorrow is one of my goals is to take a better look at it and see if I have anything that I could hack onto that bike. I don't want to overinvest. Like it's one of those things talking about how don't have a problem with the winter wearing out my bike, but then I'm like, well, I don't want to spend a lot of money on it. Well, it's a 2001 and I haven't upgraded anything besides like taking off the 4 changing bars. So I don't know. Maybe I should be a little less. I should follow my own advice. Aliens are the only logical thing. Why does my chat pop-up going super slow right now? Bill, okay, I'll look behind the freezers. Oh, awesome. Thanks, buddy. Nongsky. I bet you don't have to worry about riding in snow. Put your booties on. It's cold out there. Yeah. Matt Rhodes asked about the plastic bags on the feet technique. I always hear about that, and I feel like it's one of those things that you can do if you're not going to be stopping anywhere. But I feel like since I'm so often riding somewhere that I would get damp, and then that would be the end of me.
We use like a nitrile glove, like put the rubber glove on under your normal glove, and it's great, but you take that off and
all wet.
You're just soaked.
I think I've probably told this story 100 times, but we were at 69 Taps with Woody when we first started riding in some cold weather, and he asked them if they had any like gloves for like anything, and they had those big like sandwich gloves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like clear. And she put them down in the bar, and he's like, thanks. And then he looked, and he was like, you gave me 2 left gloves. And she grabbed it and flipped it over because they're so generic and universal fit. There's not a left and right. And we've never let him live that down. We always crack up. But you gave me 2 left-handed gloves. Now it's a right. Yeah, and that people were saying, yeah, the plastic means you might get wet, so keep the snow to yourself. You guys didn't get anything up there yet in Toronto? So everything's just been going south of you and been lake effect then, huh? Ricky, still haven't seen me on the road yet. I know it's crazy for not being that far away that you haven't. A friend of mine described our current city trail conditions as oversalted and underplowed. Yeah. Jay Dandy, what's up? Too cold too soon. Have to ease into this nonsense. Yeah, I think one thing that you're not a Sasquatch. I think one thing that might have helped me is me and Ben's tour, because those mornings were like 29 degrees when we were taking off, so I just had no choice but to get acclimated and get used to the clothing strategies. But 36 spokes, wider rims should hold your weight. Yeah. Brian and Ben, wow, that sounds like a risky strategy. I mean, if it works, it worked. But I've used a plastic bag for winter hiking, camping. The trick is to use a thin liner sock, then the bag, then wool insulating sock. Your liner sock will get drenched, but your shoe and your doesn't get cold and sweaty. I can see it.
Yeah, then you can't feel anything.
Yeah. I don't like being wet either, though. Like, I don't want my feet to feel wet.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I like paying for wool in the first place. Just got a sprinkle up there in Toronto. Huh. Waterloo, Ontario had 1.5 feet. Jeez, Julia. One of you can't tell me there's been lots of snow in the Toronto area, and someone else in Toronto says just a dusting. Gore-Tex or sealskin socks? Yeah, I'm a wool guy, but what are sealskins is the brand though, so that's Gore-Tex is a brand too, but they're usually a type of material. I have a mix. I wear a lot of hiking socks, just merino hiking socks. I have Darn Tough. I have 45 North. Those are the longer ones. I like those for certain situations. I pull them up almost like below the knees. What other? Have some smart wool. Not too many for socks, but have a couple pairs of Rafa and Chrome wool socks that are winter socks, but those are like winter English winter socks. They're not Ohio winter socks. I wear those actually underneath the thicker ones. What is it, bud? I'm trying to think. There's one oh Defeat makes some really thick wool socks that I love for like the coldest of the cold. Let me get my foot in a position where I don't hit a power cord and turn everything off. Got 12 inches and your winter bike is out of commission? That's Erin was saying that she didn't get her winter bike set up in time, and I'm like, we usually don't have snow on the ground on December 2nd. You're not slacking. Mine was just reasonably ready to go because mine's dedicated. She had pulled the bars off hers and put it on something else and hadn't set hers back up. Jeez. Ah, now we're getting Toronto neighborhoods. Gotcha. Yeah, the goggles thing. A lot of people love the Otis wears like ski goggles in the winter. I talked about this in a million winter videos. Hate having my face covered. I just go with like the gooder like traditional clear glasses, and I'll do the buff up to about here. I've gone out on super cold days, and like I said my brother was in here and he got me a full face mask, and I've needed it, but I'll still take it off after a couple miles. Man, I do not. Yeah, I just don't like having my face covered. It's weird, and it gets warm as I ride. I feel like, man, even when I've been out on those like rare like low teens days, I still after a while don't want my face covered, even if my head's hurting at first. I did get that better 45 North cap that Ben told me about last year. So I wear the greasy down to like the mid 20s, but then I switched to one that is has much more coverage on the forehead and allows less airflow in. If you're still in here, Large, if you know the name of that model, because that one has been really, really great for like the really cold temperatures. Yeah, Dimitri, it's like that here too, because like I said, with the lake effect, there's areas that'll be like, well, even when we did Road Apple last spring, like there they were getting snow where we were starting the race, and then a half an hour north they were saying don't even ride that way up there because they're just getting hammered. So yeah, here it could be very different within pretty short distances. Nice, David Geller. I used to do that a lot too, and I need to start doing that, going out to the thrift store looking for merino stuff. Shimano mountain bike shoes are so old that they fell apart and they were expensive. Gore-Tex socks aren't insulated. Sealskins are. Both are reasonably waterproof but still breathe. Nice. Yeah, I checked. My 510s were pretty waterproof when I first bought them, but are not anymore. Um, they're not like they don't leak like sieves, but yeah. What's up, Rob? Heavy lead velvet. I've used a variety of face gear from balaclavas to Dickies AK fake turtleneck. Gotcha. What I want to get this year, so what I've been wearing is, I mean, if it's not super cold, I always have a bandana on, but this is cotton, so it's not ideal if you're going to be trying to breathe through it. I have like a Rafa, just because it was their EF version of a synthetic neck gaiter type thing, but I really want to get a nice merino one for this year. So it's like that whole thing where you could pull it up for a little bit, but then just mostly have it around your neck. Stovepipe, Ed. That's what it's called. Yeah. The stovepipe cap from 45 North is for the really cold and still fit nicely under a helmet. And then since it does cover your ears completely, it has slots for your glasses to go into. So it's really well thought out. Like I always say, like you don't need to buy biking specific stuff, but for certain situations, biking specific stuff just is really nice. I was going to see if you wanted to be your third on an easy bank robbery, but the no mask thing is a deal breaker. Yeah, COVID was tough for me. I did. I thought about it all the time because I only had to have a mask on during like late in COVID when I had a couple hour event. I was thinking of people who had to wear them like all day. I'm like, oh, I just, man, I hated it with a passion. But thanks, LRCB. Appreciate it. Matt Rhodes, you said all you do is hunt wool secondhand. Goggles are good for windy days. Yeah, I don't think I've had my eyebrows freeze with the regular glasses, but maybe I have. I know I've had very icy beards when I've gotten home, so hunting wool is definitely in season. I get people always talk about, Rob, like the warm beverage in the bottle. That's such a good idea because I mean when I get home and I even tonight like my ride home was only I stopped to fix my fender, but I was probably only out there for half an hour. But when I got home and sat down, I hadn't even taken my like thicker surly merino off yet. And then when I was sitting there, I got a chill in me, and sometimes that's when I like to have a hot tea or something like that. So, yeah, definitely having a hot drink on the bike would be something that made sense, but it's not something I've ever done. John, fat tire bike on snow in the woods is fun, but road bike on ice on a bike path can hurt. I don't think I've ever used any specific ski gear, but I think the reason is there's enough good bike stuff out there. But people mention for really cold stuff, ski gloves, like I said, ski goggles. I just there's a level, there's a layer, there's conditions that I'm not going to go out in, and if it starts to require like Arctic ski gear, then I'm usually not heading out the door. But yeah, all my stuff is either bike specific or just winter stuff. Yeah, no, my eyes need to be covered. I'm not saying I didn't realize that when I first started riding in the cold, and I had ridden out to Kent alone one night. There wasn't snow on the ground, but it was like 30 some degrees. And I got there and I went into the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and my eyes looked more bloodshot than Bob Marley's. But that's when I realized I'm like, oh, you need eye protection. But I'm good with just glasses, just clear, non-prescription like glasses. At first, I just started wearing safety glasses that I had like because I have saws and stuff, and then I started buying the gooder ones. So. Little barrel of booze around your neck like the St. Bernards in the old cartoons. When you get on your bike, you'll just have to ride back and forth on the bridge till I show up. Yeah, it won't be long. I bought, Aaron, I have my blue one is getting long in the tooth, and when Otis was like, these are some of the last ones we have before they make more, he was like, buy it. And it's like, they're expensive, but I'm so glad I did. So also like tonight at the gig, the surly wool, the black one I have, looks nice enough to actually be worn at a decent event. So I had a button down shirt with that over it. And that's one thing I like about it. But my blue one has a hole in the shoulder, sleeves is wearing out. Large margin in the chat. He has his green one, which I think is, that one's like, gotta just be hanging on by threads at this point, right? I should get to, I hope Box Hill didn't leave, but I do have the one of the beers that we met up on Sunday. So brought me a couple beers from local brewery in Frederick, Maryland. I assume you pronounce it Frederick and not Frederick, even though it has that extra syllable in there. But it has kind of a cool bike tie-in because this farm that they made it in, what do you say, partnership with, has a double slalom track on it and has this event every year. So I was looking it up before I got on the chat. But I did have one of these the other night, and this is exactly what a brown ale should taste like. They're so good. So yeah, so the Going Down Coxey Brown. So I don't know how much or if they have any distribution, but if they do, highly recommend it. I drank one of the IPAs too, the double dry hopped one, and it was absolutely delicious. So yeah, I left one sip in this. Got to finish that. Can't leave like a what does Otis always call them? Lost soldiers or something. How far behind did I get?
You're not far behind at all.
Yeah, like I said, I know people absolutely love. Oh wait, why do I have that border around there? Yeah, love the goggles, but yep, just hate on my face stuff. Oh, having a prescription makes getting sunglasses and cycling glasses expensive. Ski goggles you can wear over glasses, though, right?
Yeah, but it sucks.
It sucks.
You can get prescription snow goggles, but they're not cheap.
Yeah, that would
Not
just
even
still
close.
saying that'd be a lot of money. So, William LeBron, that's a good question. I've done polls on the channel before, like just as like in posts, but I putting a range of numbers. Mine, I think, was that last year I made the video? Was it too cold to ride? And I went out in 12 Fahrenheit. I wore the down jacket for a while, and I think I did eight-ish miles. I think maybe I was just going to buy pet food and doing it, like just going to the pet store to do it. I survived. I don't know. It's like, man, you know, are you gonna be able to have any fun? I don't know. It depends. I've gone out on super cold days, like in the low 20s, though, and had a blast. Like, had the right stuff on, got built up to the right heat, and then other days it's like in the low 20s, and I just can't get warm, and I don't enjoy myself. So, yeah, Gooders. That's just what I wear. They're just basically knockoff Ray-Bans with yellowish tinted lenses. So, knockoff. What are the Ray-Bans? That classic Ray-Bans. Wayfarers.
Wayfarers, yes.
I remember because before they came back into style, do you remember when Johnny, like we were the song "Boys of Summer," and they're talking about that line at the end, "Wayfarers" on, and that's the first time I actually heard what that style was called. But now they're so popular again. Huh? You'll ride without eye protection into the cold? Yeah, that is the thing. Like I said, I'm not going crazy on the eye protection, but I've got to have at least clear glasses, safety glasses, something on. What's up, Mr. Ben? Is it interesting? Maybe you just don't notice. Yeah, like I said, the first time I noticed it was in the 30s, and I looked in the mirror and that just saw what my eyes look like. But then after that, when I've forgotten them, I've noticed just how dry and scratchy my eyes feel, mostly after the ride. But need to find some gloss black touch-up paint. Might have luck just at the AutoZone, you know. Wintertime is malty beer season. Yeah, and I was making last night when I had the first one, brown ale, I was making pasta, like spaghetti, which I haven't for a while, and I don't know why this just goes so good with pasta. You know, you'd think red wine, but brown ale, I thought that's why I actually opened one, because I was going to not have one until the stream, and I started making the pasta, and I was picturing that brown ale, and I had to get it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is so good with this. But my son's name is Frederick, and it's pronounced it Frederick. Yeah, I assumed, but I guess I had never really looked at the name till I was reading the can. And then also, coincidentally, right Sunday night, so after I had Box Hill lunch with Box Hill on Sunday afternoon, like a brunch out at Magic City. But then I was watching one of my nerdy history shows about the Civil War and about Maryland, whether the border states succeeding or not succeeding, and Frederick came up in that YouTube video. I was like, just randomly decided to watch a 15-minute video on the border of states, why they didn't secede, and Frederick came up the day after we had lunch together. Yeah, my nose runs a lot too. A lot of the good winter gloves, that's what that soft on the thumb is for. It's for wiping your nose, and I definitely take advantage of it. So, how many bikes currently? It's funny, someone just asked me that in Discord because the last video I showed my wall of bikes, and it's one of those questions that I literally would have to, I don't know the answer. So, too many. If you have to ask, you can't afford them. Chris McCallum, you said depends on how prepared you are, but 0 Fahrenheit. Yeah, 0. Single digit. That's too low for me. High teens, lows 20s don't stop me, especially on my group ride night. But yeah, single digits, I'm probably out. So 15 degrees or colder, you woke up and took the bus. Yeah. Ricky, you said 60 degrees and you live in Ohio? You're limiting a lot of riding there. David, you said coldest you've ridden is -8 with the wind chill? You got to tell us their temperature. There's always a wind chill when you're riding your bike. Do you find yourself reducing your effort after warming up to avoid overheating? I have. But like tonight I was commuting, and I definitely like climbing up into Akron because I came down to the valley on the Towpath. I actually stopped under a bridge, unzipped all my layers, and then I probably would have pedaled harder if I wasn't worried about it. In general, though, I try to have the layers right that I could, shed what I need to, or just like again unzipping. I always have the annoying problem like tonight when I have the bikes, like I'm using a camera bag on my back. It's really annoying, hard to unzip the zippers, or when you're wearing lobster gloves, your shirt's not tight enough. So yeah, good cycling gear. Another reason they're good is because they're usually easier to zip and unzip. So as long as it's not waterproof stuff. Yeah, Gooders are great. They're what, $25 for polarized sunglasses. The problem is if you get any of their mirrored finish ones, which are the ones I like the most, they scratch so easily. So, of course, you haven't ridden since 2010. Gotcha. But I used to be a fair weather rider, so I wouldn't really make fun of it. Like I always say, I don't shame anyone for not liking the cold. And Erin went riding the cold when I first met her, and now is she doesn't go out all the time, but enjoyed some snow rides. So, Ed, you said you think you hate glasses the way I hate having my face covered. You feel the same? Yeah, read that. Oh, what's up, Donald? Your record is 24 Fahrenheit. Used to cross country ski, so that's your reference point. Yeah, people cross country ski down much lower out here, but cross country skiing seems like you build up so much effort so fast. And you're not quite going as fast as cycling, so you wouldn't be getting as much wind. So like gin and tonic in summer, winters for dark beer. I definitely get into more of a dark beer phase in the winter. Like when I go to a brewery and they don't have any stouts on, I'm always kind of bummed in the winter. I like when you go to one and they have like 5 stouts on. But National Museum of Civil War Medicine is right down in Frederick. Oh, nice. Yeah, winter sniffles. I've always been that way. When I ran, it was the worst. But
When you go out, do you just try to hit it hard real quick to heat up, or you ease into it?
I I can't hit it hard real quick anymore at my age.
Fair enough.
When we leave like the brewery, a lot of times, Otis always laughs at me. I won't sit down. I stand up.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to keep my whole body tense, and I just stand up until I get warm. And I go for the hard gear strategy, so I ride in a harder gear than I normally would, and I feel like that effort helps me out. It's like the idea of climbing, whereas I see other people go easy and try and spin real hard to get
movement. Yeah.
And I think there's validity to both. It's just putting out more effort than you need to in either way. But so I definitely do that on those, like leaving the brewery on like Kent on an 18-degree night. Like I'm standing up and pushing the hardest gear I can. But ever heard of Outer U face glove? It covers just your nose and cheekbones. Hate your neck and chin being covered, and balaclava icing up. I haven't. It's funny though, because that's totally the opposite of what I am. Whereas I don't want any of this covered, but I don't mind. I always have my neck, and usually at least up to here for a while until I get warm, and then I'll pull it down. I should actually pull that one up. Outer U face glove. Wait, the U's connected. This isn't going to pull up something real spicy, is it?
Sounds like it.
Face glove by Outer U. I got it. Let's pull it up here in a second. Where did my scrolling down the chat go? Been commuting in the 20s and ended up being too sweaty by the time you get downtown. Yeah, I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like I used to always go out too cold and know that it's going to be. I know the spot. Like if I'm heading towards the bike shop to meet people, where I'm going to be fine. So now I know that, and so on, a lot of times on those nights, and I know I'm going to be riding maybe a little harder, I do go out and there's. I always say this: you leave with all the heat from being in your place. There's this place where I lose the heat from being indoor, and I get cold for a while because I haven't built up enough body temperature. And there's this like, I don't know, half-mile gap that I know on Howard Street or Main Street around here where I'm going to be miserable. My forehead hurts. Like I could just feel the cold hitting me. But then I stop, like I just start, my mind wanders, and then before I realize it, I'm like, oh, I'm warm again, you know. But so yeah, I would rather not get sweaty, but it really depends on what you're doing. If you're just going for a ride and you're going to end up back at home, like getting a little damp isn't a big deal. But if you ride like I do a lot of times where I'm going to be stopping somewhere for a little while, then I really try to avoid overheating and getting damp. So oh, Brent, you said cool seeing me on Nate the Great's channel. Yeah. No, it's been great when he's come up. What? Have we met now? What, 3 or 4 times? So air temp was 10. I've decided I can't listen. I can't, like the wind chill stuff. I just feel like with biking is just too. Biking's always adding a wind chill. I've decided I get dressed for the air temp. I just really feel like I just have to keep that baseline. So the ice circuit Woodall, commuted through most of the winter, but yeah, it wasn't the cold, but yeah, trying to get studded tires this year. Like I'm saying, they make a difference to me. They give me a lot of peace of mind. It doesn't mean they're always the perfect thing, but I love them. I've never wrapped my feet in aluminum foil or plastic. I just, like we were talking, I think it's the same thing where I'm just too worried about them getting too damp. So, oh, here's the, I'll pull this up real quick. They only have wide shots. I want to see the tight shot of this to show it on the stream. I could already tell what it looks like, but don't they have what the hell was that? Oh, this one would work if it. Oh, I have seen these. Yeah, that's like my nightmare. And like I said, it's usually like I feel like I have that ice cream headache when I first set out in the real cold. So that's what the stove pipe does for me. But that just again, that's just what it goes to show everyone's different. And what I always try to say when I'm talking about things, it's just because something works for someone doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. So.
When you ever get an issue, I always had that skiing, having worn glasses forever. Like how they got the little blockers on the side. I always found it worse wearing glasses because then wind would like.
Oh, go behind them?
Right.
I've never really, I don't feel like I've really ever had that issue. I feel like people do, that's why people wear the ski goggles instead of just glasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't, and the Gooders are like, almost like your
Are they
glasses. They're not,
pretty tight?
no, they're more like yours. They're not really tight on your face. I feel like when I wore safety goggles, they blocked more of the wind.
Right.
I just need to block a minimal amount, I think, to be comfortable personally. Sub-Zero Century once? I can't even imagine. KT Money, boy do I hate winter. Like I said, we're in the honeymoon phase right now, but it hit early, so we'll see what I'm saying on January 15th. So, winners for Rye. As the saying goes, there's no bad weather, just poor equipment, and the option to stay inside. Yeah, I agree with that. Because I don't like when people say like and I know you're obviously making a joke, but when people say the whole like, there's no bad weather, just bad equipment. It's like, no, there's bad weather. Like, I was talking to Frank, who was in the chat earlier, about like a ride he just did, like a back-to-back over centuries, and got caught in thunderstorms in the night after dark and climbing hills. And at one point he was like, what am I doing out here? You know, like, there's bad weather. Donald, you said Camp Dennison Civil War Hospital is right on the bike trail 10 miles north of Cincinnati. I might have read the name, but I've never noticed that, which is crazy for such a history nerd. But then again, 10 miles, usually if I'm leaving Cincinnati, we've got 4 days of riding to go, so maybe I'm not stopping yet. So, one gear fixed. Too many hills around here for that, and too many bad knees. I don't have, my knees actually aren't bad yet, but I could not ride fixed around Akron in the winter, where I have to go. So. Is my GoPro grill mount from Pro Standard? Yeah, Rob, that's what I use for filming almost 95% of what you're going to see in my videos if I'm riding is the GoPro on the Pro Standard mount. Yeah. Yeah, beard ice for sure. I think that's Large Marge Strava picture. It used to be his beard completely covered in ice. Brian Adventure, you're a face glove guy too? Yeah. It's funny when you come in with your beard frozen, you feel like you scratch your face as you take everything off. It's like, Mr. Ben, you said the forehead hurting is so insane. Your body is telling you danger, danger, but if you push through, you forget about it. Yeah, that's how I am. But again, I wouldn't say that's how everyone feels about it. Like, Naptown said the weird thing about seeing me in other videos is seeing me riding the bike. Yeah, because I'm not one of the people, we've talked about this before. I'm always impressed by the people who do it. I think me and Party Size were talking about it. Go and set up the camera and then always do the ride by. Yeah, I like the POV because then I can keep riding my bike, especially in winter. You know. Looks like Dylan Groenewegen with the arrow nose. Tried aluminum foil on your feet once, then you could pull in WMMS. Yeah, if you put aluminum foil on your feet, the government can't read your mind. Cheesy Rider, you wore it on your head once. Yeah. Tinfoil hat. Gutters were originally designed for runners, so it didn't have to worry about airflow like that. Makes sense. Long time lurker, first time poster. What's up, Randy? You like studded tire on the front for the peace of mind cornering, riding fixed gear mountain bike conversion so the rear is controlled. Yeah. And that's true. I tonight when I went around just one neighborhood curve and it was slow, I felt my front start to slip and the rear didn't have any issues. But yeah. What time is it? 10:06. We'll probably do like 10:15. Try and get to as many comments till then. And wrap it up early because I shot an event tonight. I have to get those photos done. Bunch of photos I have to edit tomorrow before I head off to another gig and then hopefully back in time to ride my bike. So. How do you keep your camera in the bike and chest?
He's asking about your mouth mount.
Oh, what does that mean?
He's asking how you keep it where it's at.
Oh, it is just the mouth mount. It puts the camera right about where my chin is. So, from it. So it's just that. It's in my, well, tonight I was riding with a camera bag, like a sling style bag. So the GoPro, I use the mouth mount to hook it right on the strap. And then when I need it, I just literally put it in my mouth. And like tonight, that's one thing I love about the mouth mount is that I needed both hands on the bars. But if I want to be able to show something, I could still point it around. That's why I don't use chest mounts or anything like that, because then the camera's locked in place and I can't show what I'm seeing. So, if that's what you're asking, if not, let me know. Ah, really? Ken Eichenbach, I assume it's pronounced, makes those pro standard mounts. He's in the Hall of Fame snowboarder. Huh. I actually keep two of them because they break over time the way I use them. It's not even a fault. It's not even a design flaw. It's just that I need it to be tight enough, and I just get in the habit so much of like putting it in my pocket and closing it real fast, and then putting it in my mouth and changing the angle that I just put too much pressure on it. And I'd rather that breaks than my GoPro feet. So, but yeah, I'm probably on number 6 maybe. So. Yeah, William LeBron, like, I was looking at the side hairs on my beard. I don't want to shave my beard off. Like, I usually just shave it off completely once in a while. I'm like, oh man, I'm actually going to have to trim it before speaking of the Civil War, start looking like a Civil War or president or something. Or general, I meant to say. You guys are making my feet cold. Nope. Got like 8 inches of snow in the Hudson Valley. Huh, yeah, who was I? Is there snow there right now? I saw when we still had like 50 degrees, it was snowing out there. I was watching some friends out in the Mohonk region when they were getting some cold and snow. But yeah, I'm trying to think of who I know, like I follow on Instagram, and see if they had been riding in snow the last few days. So. Mutton chops equal cheek warmers. They're catching too much wind. I'm not aero enough. I need to trim them. What's this +1 I have going on here? No. YouTube trying to make you guys spend money. No. Oh yeah, I bet that system. Nope. That hit us just hit you guys because it looked like it was heading directly east when I finally did look at the radar just to know if I was going to be getting any snow on the way back tonight. It was heading off in your direction. It could be the same one. I'm not sure. I don't know how long it takes to get to the Hudson Valley from here, right? I always felt like watching Terry streams. If the weather goes directly east, it's like a day almost before they get our weather.
Yeah, generally.
That's all the way out in the city, though, so that's possible, I think. I should look at the weather before we go. I don't know it. I don't know what's coming up. project all on this computer. $27 out now, so it has dropped considerably. Wait, what? Is this not up to date? Thanksgiving weekend forecast. What the hell is this?
What are you looking at?
Like, unAccuWeather. Wednesday, a high of 32, low of 25, cold with low clouds. Thursday, low clouds, a breezy, cold with a snow shower. It doesn't seem like we're supposed to get that much then. I think I said Wednesday and Thursday, but this is 56.
No, I think that's even changed from what I was looking at earlier in
Man,
the day.
It's staying cold though. Friday.
It's not even that bad. I mean, it'll dip down at night, but we're hovering around the 30s.
Yeah,
That's not
early
terrible.
December. That's cold. We're usually
Well,
like 45 and rainy at this.
I think we're just
24 on
used to
Monday?
what it used to be, or
Yeah, it has
what
been.
it's been.
Yeah, I saw we're getting like a vortex at some point. They were saying all mid-December. Yeah, there's not a high above freezing except that one day till they're showing like halfway through December. Not that I believe the forecast around here that far out, but oh yeah, yeah. I pull the GoPro out all the time. Is basically the answer. It's usually if I'm not wearing a camera bag, it's hooked in my shorts pocket, or if I have a front bag on, I specifically have put some cordage or one of the like these model infinity tools like through the Swift bags, and then I just hook it there and then just grab it as I need it. But I also find that some people, I don't know if Aaron, if you do this, but just run the GoPro the whole time till it dies. I would never get that stuff edited if I did that. I only film what I intend to show and then cut that down a little bit. So beard waxes for it. Yeah. Winter beards make a difference. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's warmer to have a beard. Like, I would prefer to be what is it, bud? I'd prefer to be clean shaven all the time. I hate shaving, but in the winter, I'm like, no, definitely gonna be a beard. So. Ah, you've been riding your trainer in an unheated area, but your toes get cold. Yep. Do you have room for thicker socks and like if you're riding clipless? I was just
See,
watching.
that shouldn't be unless if you're riding clipless, I could see that happening. But you're not catching any of the wind or any of the wet or nothing.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're riding in a truly unheated garage in winter, I could still see my feet getting colder than everything else. Just your extremities, you know. No. Yo, you're out in Mohonk this afternoon. Ricky, you asked if I looked at the trees at the John S. Knight Center. To be honest, I actually did not, even though I was right across the street. But right after my shoot, I had to go down to Lock 3 and get some photos of the lights in the snow for a different thing. So I think I was just pretty single-minded today. William, a couple people brought that up, but I don't have a fat bike, so I won't be. Party size, what's up? So you guys just scroll the weather when I'm not here. Yeah, it gets real boring. When you're not talking, I'm just looking at AccuWeather, just a minute cast, play by play. Aaron said, just picked up an Insta360 Ace Pro 3. Nice. GoPro sucks in low light. I agree. I just don't really film much in low light. Where I ride, I'll tell you what, when I make night videos, no one watches them. If it's all riding in the dark, no one watches them, no matter what the footage looks like. It'd be different if I lived somewhere like New York, but for trail riding and all that, I do think the Ace Pro 3, the sensor in that, it's the same sensor that's in the DJI, their action cams too. So they're both better. They process them different, but they're both better. I just don't really care because I just don't. winter, it would be like nice to be able to film a little bit, but if there's no light, there's no light. It's kind of one of the things I always say. If it's just a spot of a headlight.
Well, viewing it, you don't really get a sense of what you're doing unless you're going through some real gnarly stuff. But
it's just too hard to see. It doesn't matter. That's why you'll notice when we come back, no matter what time of year it is, that part of my video will always be really short. There'll be a few clips to try and tell that story that we're riding back, but just can't tell what's going on. And you could probably, if you're riding alone and mountain biking, use like the more powerful lights and light up way more of it. But if you're riding with other people and stuff, you can't really do that. But
that'd be cool to get some real snowy shots.
Yeah, and they work better in the snow anyways, even coming home tonight, because the light's reflecting everywhere and stuff, and even a GoPro can do some of it, but... Breath, what do you think of the new DJI cameras? You'd have to be more specific. I'm filming on a DJI right now. I'm not brand loyal to anything, for the record. This is a Pocket 3, which I think is a genius camera that nobody has replicated, and it's already, 2-3 years old? They don't even put out a new one. They just keep raising the price and people keep buying it. They know they gotta win it. They're like, I hear that bill in Colombia, and I don't disagree with it. But I have had times where my legs are so warm and my feet are still cold, and I think this is. I'm not saying that isn't true, but I think that is also a personal body type thing, because no matter how warm I can keep my legs, and I wear fleece lined tights with jeans over them, or even some like warmer riding pants over them. There are times where I'm hot, I'm unzipping my jacket, and my feet are still cold. So, but yeah, I've been told that before, and I've disagreed with it. But I don't mean it's not true for me, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work for other people. As Otis told me, my legs are tubes, and they're bringing the blood down there, and if you don't keep the tubes warm, and we all say this now, we all call our legs tubes because of this Otis thing, but yeah, it doesn't work for me. I could be completely warm everywhere and have cold feet. So, final version. Oh, it said OBS Studio disconnected. Are we still here? Yeah. I don't have a final verdict on the varmints. I think it'll go in with the studded tire video is what I was already thinking, because I just have a lot of thoughts on them. Again, as someone who rides to places, then your bike sits outside, varmints become a lot less useful if your bike is out in the cold and your bars are radiating cold. And then I still feel like I need gloves to go into the varmints until the varmints are warmed up, but your point of gloves is to keep the heat in your hands. So, I'm mixed. For handling a GoPro, I love them. As I was just mentioning, the way I use my GoPro, it's way easier to use my GoPro and my cameras and stuff than it is with big old lobster gloves on or anything else. But yeah. Alex, you said you heard some new DJI cameras cleared the FCC. No, the whole thing is company wide. We'll see what happens. They're asking for the government to do what they said they're going to do. This fucking stupid ass Trump administration doesn't do anything that makes any sense. Even if you agree with them, they don't do anything in a linear order that makes any sense. They said, we'll review all DJIs as a company, and then we'll have a thing. DJI is begging them to audit us. Audit us. Let us know so we know what we're doing. No, there's no one over there who does anything in a straight line that makes any sense. Like I said, whether you ever agree with them or not, I don't agree with that single thing they do, but it's total chaos. That's what total chaos. So we'll see what happens. Sorry, it's annoying. It's annoying as a photographer and as a human being. So. Pocket 3 is like. Osmo Pocket 3 is like an old camera now in camera terms. They're just not updating it because they don't need to. Yeah, they keep selling them. Hey, what's up, Wes? Are you, oh, you're back home now. That's right, because I think I saw on Strava that you were back home. But all right, we're gonna wrap this up before I go off on way too many tangents. The DJI thing annoys me, again, because, like, I think it's funny to be like anti-Chinese companies, like these American companies have such great, they care about our, interests so much. But do you want the Chinese doing that? I don't want the Americans doing that. American corporations, like, is Meta a good corporation? They're American. Do you want them looking at all your stuff? Anyways, like that's why I said I was gonna wrap it up. What's up, Chuckles? Say what's up though, because that's been a long time, and he's a definite OG. So. What's up, Mountain Biker Boy? I'm gonna move through real quick, but yeah. Oh, Wes, you got home Thanksgiving Day. Nice. All right, everybody. Yeah, wrap it up. At least I didn't get crazy till way at the end. You know. I appreciate all you guys as always. Fun chat, and always. I love the beginning of winter when we first get the snow chats because, like I said, I give my opinion, but reading all your comments is always. I've definitely learned stuff and taken stuff from all of those as well, and hopefully other people the same thing. Because, like I said, what works for me might not work for you, but what somebody else brings up might work for you. So, all right, dudes. I will see you in the next one. Me and Party Size next week. Don't have a plan yet, but we'll come up with one. He'll text me something funny. All right, peace.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is not
Fitzwater photo.